Welcome everyone to today's webinar, which is our business valuations for lawyers. And it came about because in discussions with lawyers and business people as well, there's a lot of uncertainty and different views on what is a business value and how do we arrive at it. And so what I want to do is go through some of the common things that we see in valuing businesses and where people get it wrong and misconceptions along the way. And there is a lot of misinformation out there along the way. And some of it's due to the differences in people's definitions of goodwill and what they understand goodwill to be. So we'll go over those today with and some case studies and examples of different things. So what we're going to cover today was a couple of questions that I put in the email to everyone. Was does every business have goodwill? When does a business have goodwill? And then what is the value of customer databases, business names, time in business, turnover, trademarks, patents, etc.? And then we come across these things called rules of thumb, and what are they and how are they used? So in the first thing is discussing really what is goodwill and whether things apply to it, is really looking at the meaning of goodwill. And it means different things to different people. An accountant will look at it in terms of someone preparing your accounts. Well, goodwill is merely the difference between what you pay for something and the assets and the fair value of those assets, physical assets that you purchased. So whether it's the difference between if you bought a business that had debtors, stock, and plant and equipment for and that was valued at $200,000 and you bought it for $400,000, then the goodwill portion is $200,000, and that's how accountants see it. Lawyers have a different meaning of goodwill because they're quite often asked to protect goodwill, or so when someone has actions that limit the value, limit a person's goodwill, being the access to their premises or reductions in that. And so lawyers will have a somewhat different way, and the general public's view of goodwill is something fairly close to the lawyer's definition. One of the things we look at is well, there's actually a difference between, well, there's still goodwill. The question is, does that goodwill have any value? And as lawyers, you'll be looking to say, okay, we want to protect that goodwill. And as business values, we say, well, that might be the case, but that goodwill that might be there has no value. So you might protect it for the sake of, if they made, if it was custom to a shop or access to a mailing list, it might result in greater losses than they would have occurred. But if we looked at the entirety of goodwill, chances are the business wouldn't have any value.